Hey, welcome back. When we talk about co-composing with Jukebox, this begins with the continuation. That is, audio that you provide as a seed for Jukebox to continue from. The seed is a really important part of working with generative models. The seeds are audio prompts, and they play a crucial role in guiding the model's output. In this video, I'll cover the technical requirements for a seed file and some aesthetic suggestions. Okay, I've got a short piece I want to create a seed from. Let's use Logic Pro to prepare it for use with Jukebox. Create a new project in Logic and save it with a name related to your seed. Next, sampling rate. Go into Project Settings, Audio. The sample rate must be the same rate Jukebox uses, which is 44.1 kHz. I'll drag my source file into the timeline. The maximum seed length is 24 seconds. The file can be longer, but Jukebox won't use more than that. Let's listen to the piece. Okay, there are a couple measures near the end that I really like and want to use as a seed. Now, if there's a figure that you want to anchor your co-compose on, it's probably a good idea to have it repeat at least a couple times, whether by looping or having the figure develop in a recording you made or whatever. So I want to loop this, but I don't want to try to create the loop manually and risk creating a rhythmic disruption that'll be carried on into the co-compose. I'll try using the Smart Tempo editor to overlay tempo, downbeat, and time signature onto the audio file to make it easier to work with. Okay, that sounds really good. It's a little bit offbeat leading up to the thing, but where it got to the figure, it seems fine. Let's try it again. All right, cool. So now we'll say we want to apply the region tempo to the project tempo. Now, if we turn on the metronome up here, we will probably hear. A little hard to hear the metronome. All right, so we'll just drag a loop here and see how this sounds. All right, cool. So go ahead and save that. So we'll take these two measures and get rid of everything else. There are many ways to do that. I'll just mark out the first 8 measures and then go to Edit, Cut and Insert Time, Cut Section Between Locators. Then I'll cut that little bit off the end by positioning the playhead to the start of measure 3, make sure the clip is selected, and then hit Command-T to split at the playhead, and then delete that little doodad. Okay, now I've got the 2-measure figure. I'll drag it out to 4 measures to repeat the figure twice, and then I'll go on and drag it a little more to give Jukebox something to complete. You can end a seed at the end of a phrase or somewhere in the middle. I think you're a little more likely to get an immediate departure if you end at the end of a phrase. Next, let's normalize the volume. We want to avoid clipping and unintentional distortion as it's likely to be carried on into the co-compose. Normalizing can also raise the volume, giving Jukebox a sample that uses the full dynamic range that's available. Finally, the seed needs to be monaural. Let's set the stereo output to mono, and let's use the gain plugin to force our recording to mono, ensuring both channels are represented in the output. Set the cycle range to cover the part of the seed we want to export. You probably don't want to end the seed with silence, or that will carry through to the co-compose. Then select File, Bounce, Project or Section. Jukebox requires seed files to be in WAV format, so make sure file format is set to WAV as AIFF is the default, then hit OK. If Add to Music is selected, then your bounces will immediately be added to iTunes, which is usually nice. Go look in the Bounces folder of your project, and there should be a WAV file in there. Congrats, you've made a seed file for OpenAI Jukebox. Let's listen to a brief co-compose created using this seed. I think it's a good idea to make the seed only contain one major figure. When the seed includes multiple different parts, you might say the model can become confused because it's trying to follow multiple threads at once. It could start generating content that blends aspects of the different parts, or it could latch onto one part and largely ignore the others, depending on the specific dynamics of its learned patterns and the randomness in the generation process. One of the joys of working with AI models like Jukebox is the element of surprise and discovery. I encourage you to experiment with different seeds, settings, and approaches, and to embrace the unpredictability as part of the creative process.